Welcome to the Growth Enablement Madness podcast, and I'm Jim Ward, your host, CEO of BrainSell, the growth enablement company. I'm absolutely mad about helping businesses grow and scale. And in this podcast, my team and I get a chance to talk shop with industry thought leaders about a variety of growth enablement strategies, stories, and technology trends. I'm happy that you're here, so let's get the growth conversation started. Welcome to the Growth Enablement Madness podcast. My name is Jim Ward, and I'm now considered the founder of BrainSell and advisor. Things have changed. This is a big news podcast. We've got a lot of news. I'm going to make the sound. News. Had to do that. We've got my co-host, Sarah Reed. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Jim. Good to be here as always.
Good. You could speak up a little bit. That'd be great. Thank you. And we have a guest today, and this is really a really important podcast to me for a couple of reasons. One is our guest today is Jason Weiss. He is Executive Vice President of Atlantic. The news is that Atlantic has acquired BrainSell. And this is big news and exciting news for me and for our complete teams together. Jason, hi, how are you?
I'm doing well, Jim. Thank you for having me here. It's exciting news for us as well at Atlantic.
Yeah, well, this is a great chance for us to talk to our audience, our clients, and be able to have folks know what's going on in the background. So I'm very excited about this. This will be my last podcast. So I'll be signing off today. Oh, don't look so sad about that.
It is sad.
It is sad. Sarah's not sad, I don't think.
Sarah's not sad. I'm not going to pick it up, so I don't know how we're going to have continuity.
Yeah, so, but that's okay. We've done what, 40? This will be our 46th podcast, and this has been a great run. We've had a lot of fun with it. We've talked to a lot of great people, and we're ending it on a super high note with this great news. So Jason, again, I said, is Executive Vice President of Atlantic. Atlantic has acquired BrainSell. That's the update for everybody. I'm sure many of those folks out there have seen the updates.
Can we get the breaking news ticker?
Well, that's what I wanted. They had a breaking news ticker. You see, you're a natural at this.
We'll add it. Yeah, we'll add it.
God, Jason.
No problem.
This is what it was like, by the way, folks, throughout the whole process of acquisition. And some people think it's brutal. Well, it was brutal, but it was fun too. Jason made it fun.
So mix of fun and torture, right?
Yeah, together. I love fun and torture. Talk about that on another time. But we want to get to know you through the acquisition. You know, we learned you started your career in law of all things. Tell me, Jason, from law to Atlantic, what was the story? What was the journey?
I did. I know it's taboo too. I always try to hide the lawyer side, but sometimes I'm required to disclose it. So we had to find out about that during the process. I apologize in advance. So it was a journey, you know, getting from law to where I am today. I was a typical aimless college kid, but I had a photographic memory, and I was pretty good at school. It didn't take a lot of effort. I also was one of those kids that would always argue with his parents, like negotiate out of things. I would get punished, and I would be at the cusp of where I was allowed to be, trying to get my mom to rationalize as to what they're accomplishing with the punishment. What is the goal? What's the objective? And she could never rationalize it. So ultimately, I would wear her down and get out of there. So,
yeah, that's a lawyer.
Yeah, it's a lawyer. So they said, why not law school? I said, why not? It delays getting into the real world and bearing more responsibility. So awesome. Law school. Went to law school, graduated law school. I was never one of those guys that was going to go into the big law and work thankless hours with people not treating you very nice and giving you mundane work. And so I went in-house at a healthcare system, and I was working on transactions, really complex transactions. I remember the first transaction that got me was we purchased a surgical robot. And this was when these things had first come out. And I got to go and watch one of these things in action and then try to negotiate terms. It was amazing to let me do it because I barely tell what this thing did.
You had to negotiate terms with the robot?
Yes, the robot. No, back then there was no AI.
Yeah.
While it was doing surgery on you?
There was yeah.
I mean, come on. That's pretty cool.
It's an impressive piece of equipment, man. And, I did a lot of, it was in technology, all healthcare technology, electronic health records, or medical records, ERP systems fit in beautifully. I had negotiated all these contracts for the broader health system, got promoted to negotiating M&A. I took over all of their M&A that they did, and they did a lot of M&A. And that really became kind of the natural transition ultimately to Atlantic. I could get into the background of Atlantic, but that'll take even more time than this answer is taking. So basically went to Atlantic when they were focused in M&A. Atlantic was getting into IT and all the complexities around IT.
It strikes me now, I should have asked this question, not in the podcast, but when we started negotiating. That's when I should have asked the question. Yeah, tell me a little bit about, because I saw that you were in-house, legal counsel. And I thought, oh, crap, they're not going to be spending any money. So but it worked out very well. And I'm very, very happy. I really want, one of the things I want the audience to know that I'm literally giddy about this. And I've been very, very happy about the relationship that you and I have, and that all the great things that I can see going forward and the legacy of BrainSell continuing. I want the audience to really know, I want my clients that have known me for years to know this is a tremendous thing for everybody. And I couldn't be happier about the partner that we've chosen. So thank you, Jason. And thank you for the journey that we took together.
Thank you, Jim. I mean, we feel 100% the same way. I mean, you've built an amazing team. We've done many acquisitions. Sometimes it's not as smooth and kumbaya, for lack of a better word. But this has been awesome. I mean, your team is phenomenal. The focus, the dedication, the attitude, right? Because positive mental attitude is everything, in my opinion. Positive mental attitude yields positive outcomes. And we're all of like vision, of like mind, and just really excited about where we're going in the future together.
And I think the other thing that as a company, BrainSell, I'm bragging about the team as well. We really, the leadership team was understood and we prepared for this. And we now have a really good understanding of how to set your company up for an acquisition. So by the way, for anybody out there that needs a consultant to set yourself up for an acquisition,
Jim has some free time.
I have some free time now. Anyways, that's an aside. Thank you again for that. And Sarah, I know that you're sitting in the background, twiddling your fingers, going, "Let me ask something."
Well, no, I'm not twiddling my fingers at all. But
that's not a term. I don't think twiddling.
No, that's why I'm not
I don't
doing
even
it.
like the word twiddling. Anyways, continue.
Anyway, so this is the Growth Enablement Madness podcast, and we are focused on exploring all the different ways to help companies grow and scale. And that could be anything right from securing funding or organic growth or through acquisition, as we've been talking about. So Jason, can you share a little bit about what Atlantic's growth strategy has been?
Yeah, absolutely. And just a quick comment. On the precipice of March Madness, Growth Enablement Madness.
Right.
Heck yeah.
There you go.
Awesome. Excited to be on this particular episode. Yeah, so I mean, our growth strategy has evolved over the years. Acquisitions, inorganic growth has always been a big part of what we're trying to do, trying to not only expand the existing service lines that we have, but also look forward to where technology is going, where business is going, and try to be at that cross section. Today, more specifically, we're looking at the strategy, data, AI, for lack of a better term, hyperautomation, where all of that comes together and helps businesses to grow, helps businesses to be more efficient and more competitive. And that's one of the main things that made BrainSell attractive, because as an MSP and on the print side, I mean, we are intimately involved in our client's business. That's one thing that we have always stressed with our internal salespeople and with our teams. Understand what's going on with your client's business, be in the know, be in contact with them regularly, and see what they're seeing and where they're going, right? On the IT side, we're meeting quarterly. We have quarterly business reviews. And as part of those business reviews, we see what's happening in the clients. We don't want to focus on how can we fix problems better for you. That's what we need to do. That's crossing T's and dotting I's, right? So it's how can we help you to grow and evolve? And as part of these QBRs, what keeps coming up are things like, how can we be more efficient? How can we do AI, right? That's what people are saying. And there's a tremendous lack of knowledge with a certain scope of the SMB, some of the mid-market as well, as to how to adopt a strategy related to data, business intelligence, and AI.
Yeah, it's usually just do it. Right.
Because it's coming from the C-suite, right?
Right.
And the president, maybe the founder, owner of the company is saying, why aren't we doing AI? It's in every article I've read.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, more to it than just doing it.
Yeah, I wish you could just do it, but you can't just do it today. It's not like
People need a Sherpa, they need a guide, and that's where we come in as a team. You kind of touched on it, and I'm curious from your perspective, when you were looking at BrainSell, what made you decide to look at us? You got what's called a corporate information memorandum. What made it interesting to you to want to acquire us?
So it was definitely just seeing your focus on digital transformation, number one, which is what you've done historically. And digital transformation has been a pull-through strategy for us for years. We have a tremendous portfolio of print customers, and they're great customers. And some of them become curious as to where am I going? What can I do more efficiently? And we want to be there to help them to move through that continuum, through moving from being predominantly paper to moving to a digital environment, and then supporting that environment and helping to enhance what they're doing technologically, whether that be migrating to the cloud, migrating applications to the cloud, as you guys do quite regularly, or ultimately figuring out what else you can do in that cloud instance and optimize business through workflow.
It strikes me that's where the synergies were as I was reviewing you in the background, because, in a sense, it's a vertical integration to a degree, as I might say that. I don't know if you'd agree with that, but in addition, you do the same thing we do, which is our mission is to help our customers grow and scale, right? And that means efficiencies. That means that can be done through print, document management, moving into now MSPs that you've acquired, allowing you to manage the customers to help them scale with your MSP services. And of course, then we bring in BrainSell, which has the technologies and the consulting group and the data analytics that takes it to the next level. So this is what I saw as a synergy, but I wanted to let the audience know as well, reason why we chose Atlantic, because it's a process that you go through. We had an investment bank. And what I found with Atlantic was it was a strategic acquisition. And for those who don't know the difference, you might be being acquired by a private equity company, which is an entirely different acquisition than a strategic acquisition. And we did talk to private equity companies, and the structures are different. I knew, though, that wasn't going to be the best outcome for us. Because if you look I've been dealing with a lot of vendors who've had private equity come in, and it's completely changed the face of the company. And it wasn't really what I wanted. And with Jason and Atlantic, we were able to maintain the legacy of BrainSell. All of our team members came right over and have integrated right into Atlantic. Not a one has left. Not a one has left. Not a complaint. And so I think it was really well handled by Atlantic as well. That Sunday we got together and then we presented on a Monday to the team with our all hands, and it went very, very well. I've been really ecstatic about it. So that whole strategic element, transition of team members was very important to me. And then being able to work with a privately held company, that was key to me, right? And so that's what gives me such a view of the next chapter of BrainSell. I just wanted to say, before you so rudely interrupt me, that I had to stare at you for a pause for 3 seconds and stare.
It's hard to get a word in edgewise.
Oh, stop. And so as a bootstrap company, you get yourself to a certain size, and I think we did a very good job at that. But then you need to go to the next chapter, and you have to recognize what is it going to take. And it became obvious we needed the investment and the resources of a much larger company to get to that next chapter. So I'll pause there, Sarah, of course, for you to
well, I also wanted to mention the difference with the private equity versus the strategic buy is the ability to control and continue to deliver the customer experience that, meets a level that we're at. And sometimes with private equity, they tend to cut areas, and it has a negative impact on customer experience. So by joining forces with Atlantic, who has this culture of excellence, we're able to continue to maintain and exceed that focus on customer experience.
Yeah, no, totally agree with you. So we could go on and on about it, but that's what's happened. It was a very good thing for, I think, all of us. When a deal is done, I've always believed in negotiating on a win-win basis. But when you can get a win-win-win, right? Our team members, the company, the original owner, the new buyers, it was a win-win-win all across the board for me. And I hopefully that we go into the future with a really new place in the market. So having said that, where do you think this acquisition positions Atlantic in the market now?
So I do think it's a differentiator in a lot of ways. The primary differentiator I see is moving beyond that traditional print or MSP service and adding that strategy level, business strategy, right? Because everything that we talk about and we preach is partnership, business partnership. But to be a true holistic partner, you really need to be able to provide answers to questions and guidance on matters outside of just how can you support this? How can I optimize this particular line of business? And move outside to, I want to learn aspects, or if I already know them, leverage aspects of your business that I know in order to advise you on real growth strategies beyond just a limited line of business. And the MSP space today and the print dealers today, as far as I know, are not doing that. But to me, it's a natural fit. And the clients tell you, is not that we need to go and solicit the clients. We are meeting with them. We are doing reviews with them, and they are telling us, here's what we're struggling with. In all of our QBRs, we have a section where we just ask general questions about how the business is going, what challenges they're seeing. And so naturally, out of those conversations, things come up and we can offer to help them if they want our help. And being able to do that is, I think, a differentiator.
You know, what was the real test was we haven't even fully gotten to the complete integration. Of course, we're still working on that. But immediately we're getting calls on both sides for the services or the whatever our offerings are from our existing client base. So let me sort of segue with that. And we're going to talk about both sides. I know we're talking perhaps to Atlantic customers and BrainSell customers on this podcast and folks that are not doing business with us yet. And we hope that you do. On the Atlantic side, what does this mean for your customers? What do you think it means to them? What are you going to be able to do for them that's extending?
So we've had clients over the years ask us for the types of services that BrainSell provides, ask us for guidance on data consolidation, AI readiness, or how do I do AI, to put it a different way. And historically, we could give answers, but a lot of them are kind of topical, and we could bring them down the road a little bit, but not to the extent that we can now with BrainSell. So we're able to offer truly holistic business, technology, consulting, and strategy services to our clients and help them grow.
And that's the mission. Outcome.
Exactly.
Everything is outcome based, right? We got to get outcomes for our clients. And what I'm going to do is a brief description, because even our own clients, sometimes they do business with us, for example, on an ERP, enterprise resource planning software project, but they don't know about the other parts of our business. So I'm going to take a moment just to say, look, we provide software on the back end of the company, which is ERP, HR, fixed assets, your accounting systems. And then we do the front end of the business, which is CRM, marketing automation, CX, which would be help desk software. And then each of these products have sort of a planetary galaxy of other products, ISV products around them, which include AI and co-pilots and things of that nature. And we're leaning into, as Atlantic is, into the Microsoft tech stack with the modern work platform, Fabric. So along with that BrainSell then also has a consulting group. The consulting group does complete objective consulting that prepares you for a very large implementation, a small implementation, but it does the upfront work that really nobody does. And that is and the concept is to mitigate risk, increase return on investment. But we go in and we understand people and process first. Just buying technology could be that shot right through your foot. And then we apply technology. Along with that group is the data analytics group that deals with the AI aspects of predictive data. And of course, we're moving more and more into purpose-built AI and custom-built AI. So those are the things that we do not only an offer, and I want to make sure our clients know that, but the Atlantic clients are going to start to get a sense for all of these things that open up. Any thoughts around? And then, of course, then we have on your side, we provide now MSP services as well, or print services, document management services.
Correct.
Cybersecurity.
Yes, cybersecurity.
And managed IT services, including managed security. We just cleared our SOC 2 Type 2 audit without exception. So that was a huge accomplishment for the organization.
Congratulations. That's really good.
Big shout out to Adam Wall and the IT security team for sure.
Okay. Good job, Adam.
Yep.
I haven't met him, but good luck, Adam, with that. That's good. I think SOC 2 means you get to wear 2 socks.
Well, on some days.
On some days, okay.
If they match.
Sometimes I just go, if you tell me something really technical, I just go, yeah, that's great.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah, it's really good.
Security people like it.
No, right. And then you've got cybersecurity, we said, but also Azure hosting, all kinds of things that we can do now that is a tremendous upside for clients and for prospective clients.
We do. We have a tremendous team, about 120 strong IT technicians and the like, that have all the certifications in the world. They can pretty much solve any problem. We do lean into the Microsoft ecosystem, as you nailed. Azure is the cloud that we work with most. And we're pretty good. We can solve a lot of problems and support pretty much anything within our stack, right?
I should have mentioned some of the very good partners that we have: Salesforce.com, Sugar, Zendesk. These are all front end. HubSpot. These are the kind of companies that we represent in the marketplace. Pipedrive and back end Sage, Intact, 300, 100, Acumatica. All right. So just want to make sure I get those vendors' names in there.
All right.
Shout out to
I know.
funny
Doing a lot
thing,
of
another as we were evaluating the acquisition, other things that came up from our IT account management team is that clients had asked us to support different ERP systems, and not so much CRM, but mostly on the ERP side, line of business applications that typically an MSP doesn't support, and will liaise with the manufacturer. We don't have any real knowledge, or we didn't have any real knowledge to bring to the table to help offer a managed service around those.
Right. There you go.
So, Jason, what does the future look like for Atlantic, say 5 years, 10 years out?
That's a great question. I mean, 5-10 years out becomes pretty speculative. But where I think things are going, and, I think we see it, we've mentioned the word probably 40 or 50 times so far. Data. I get confused between the analogies. Is it oil or is it gold? Either way, it's a valuable commodity. It's actually going to be probably the most valuable commodity to businesses, not only in terms of just for decision making and insights into what directions they should be taking for various things, but also in terms of establishing hyperautomation strategies to leverage efficiencies, get the most out of your teams, and ultimately remain nimble and competitive. So I do think that data-focused strategies are going to drive pretty much everything. You're going to see tools continue to evolve at breakneck pace. I mean, technology, the evolution of technology, the pace has just become outrageous. I think it's post-COVID that it really just went into that sixth gear, and I don't see it changing. And so there's going to be more and more opportunity, but you got to be ready to capitalize on it. And we want to be in the place where we're helping our clients and new clients get ready to be able to do that.
Couldn't agree more. We're there, and it's been wonderful talking with you. Can you tell me how the listeners can learn more about Atlantic?
I mean, you could always go to our website, www.tomorrowsoffice.com. You can reach out to us. There's many contact forms or information that you can reach out. We're on social channels. I'm sure our marketing teams can give you more information on that, and we're always happy to engage. There's lots of different ways that we believe we can help you to grow.
Absolutely. And I'm going to add, if you'd like to talk to Jason and myself at any time, you can reach us at growth@brainsell.com. I'm going to spell it this time right for you, Sarah. BRAINS as in Sam, ELL. That's 2 L's.com. Growth@brainsell.com. And Jason and I'd be happy to get on a call with you and talk to you about what your future plans are, or how we can help, or whatever you want to talk about. So please reach out to us.
On anything, pretty much, right?
Yeah, anything. We can. Yeah, we'll have some.
Sorry to cut you off, Jim.
No, of course. But I want to end this in a heartfelt thank you. This is my last podcast, as I mentioned earlier, and this has been a 31-year journey for me at BrainSell. And what Jason has allowed is this company is a division of Atlantic. So that's why I said it. Different than the Atlantic site, you would go to the brainsell.com and you'll see a division of. It's been an unbelievable journey for me, just personally, working with just great people along the way. My team, Sarah, Teresa, Peter, all the folks here at BrainSell. This doesn't happen because Jim Ward was on just the team. Together we had to get here to go far. Now we have this new team at Atlantic to help us go farther. And again, I'm so pleased about this. It gives me just a happy heart as I take on the next chapter. And I thank everybody who I've come along in my life, all of those vendors. You've been a part of that journey with me. All of those folks who've had hard negotiations with me. You're still a part of that journey. We had a great time doing it, maybe. But it was a part of the journey. So thank you. And thank you to all my advisors, Craig Eaton, Joe Morrow at Morse Law, and I've got great folks around me. So thank you, Anthony Moretti. But thanks thanks everybody. I'm sure I'm missing folks. I feel like I'm at the end with the song.
I was just going to say, I need to start playing the background
You just
music for the
get me off the
Emmys.
stage. Yeah. But, and Jason, again, I want to I thank you very much for all that you've done for my team and to give me the confidence that we've got a great chapter ahead as BrainSell. Thank you very much.
It's our pleasure. Thank you, Jim. This is really exciting.
And folks, you can listen to this podcast wherever podcasts are found. They're found on Spotify. Where else, Sarah?
Your podcast app of choice. So anywhere you want to
and
listen.
YouTube.
Audible.
You can see our handsome faces on YouTube.
If you prefer to watch.
And if they prefer not to, they can just listen, right?
That's right.
That's always an option. But again, thank you. This is a sign off. Thank you very much for everything, folks. Remember, growth enablement madness means that these companies are mad about your growth. We want your outcome, and outcomes mean return on investment, scale, efficiencies. That's what we focus on. So it's not going to be about selling software. It's going to be about what is it going to do to get you to an outcome. And that's growth enablement madness. Keep going out there all. And I wish you adieu. Thank you for listening to this episode of Growth Enablement Madness podcast. I also want to thank Divinio Podcast for this episode's production and distribution. Finally, thank you to Sam Ward for our musical introduction and outro. Be sure to check out all of our episodes wherever you listen to your podcasts, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and more. New episodes are available monthly and cover all important topics for growing and scaling your business. Until next time, this is Jim Ward signing off. Let's grow.